Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sensational Experience, episode number 3, here on the NoDQ.com YouTube channel. I am, of course, the Pennsylvania sensation, Greg Cherry. Now, with Payback coming up this Sunday, actually tomorrow night from when this is recording, I wanted to go over some of the best matches in Payback history. Now, there's not a lot of history there, as there have only been 4 previous events, but there have been a lot of surprisingly, and some unsurprisingly, fantastic matches that have happened at this very pay-per-view. So let me start back all the way back in 2013 with the opening match. The Intercontinental Championship 3-way match, the triple threat match between Curtis Axel, The Miz, and Wade Barrett. I quite enjoyed this match. It's not a match that people might list up there as some of their all-time favorites, but this was a fantastic way to open up the pay-per-view, a fantastic way to open up in Chicago with Curtis Axel becoming the Intercontinental Champion, and it's still weird to see a babyface Miz. I don't know about anybody else, but it's really weird for me. But this match was a hot start to what would end up being, honestly, the best Payback show they've done, the very first one back in Chicago. Also, I would like to mention AJ Lee versus Caitlyn. Now, this is before the whole Divas or Women's Revolution that happened a couple years later, but this match was actually excellent as far as storytelling, as far as how personal it was. And I actually wrote an article about this particular match saying that from the very beginning, from the entrances and everything, how personal this match felt. From AJ Lee being all cocky on her entrance, to playing mind games with Caitlyn the entire time, to getting in her head even during the match. I thought this was a fantastic match between AJ Lee and Caitlyn, and part of me wishes that both of them would be around for the current women's revolution, or the current state of women's wrestling, because I think they could both contribute in solid ways. Later that night, we had Alberto Del Rio challenging Dolph Ziggler for the World Heavyweight Championship, and this match was just brutal as far as the physicality goes. Del Rio really tried to lay it into Ziggler, because remember, Ziggler had a concussion at that time, or had suffered a concussion the previous month and couldn't compete, couldn't defend the championship. So this was the infamous double turn between Del Rio and Ziggler, where Del Rio just beat the crap out of him and had no mercy doing it, and the crowd turned on him midway through the match, and we're starting to root for Ziggler because Ziggler wouldn't give up. If you haven't seen it, check it out, because Del Rio beats the ever-living crap out of Dolph. And it was just an excellent way of storytelling for that one. And also, from that pay-per-view, CM Punk versus Chris Jericho. You remember this is CM Punk's return after failing to defeat The Undertaker at WrestleMania, so making his return in Chicago, of course. And, of course, Punk and Jericho always had great matches. I was lucky enough to see one of them at WrestleMania 28 live, so, they always put on fantastic matches against each other. Going to the next year, I'm going straight to the main event. The Shield versus Evolution in the Elimination 6-man tag, the infamous Blue Tista match. Now, this match was solid. Part of me thinks that their match the month prior at Extreme Rules was better, just because of all the crazy stuff that they did, but this match was very solid also. Evolution was swept completely, and strangely enough, this would also be the last time the Shield as a unit would team together, as far as them being the Shield. 2015, the year after, also again featuring the Shield, but they were all on opposite sides, because it was the fatal 4-way between Seth Rollins, as he defended his WWE World Heavyweight Championship, against Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Randy Orton. Now, there was the Shield mini reunion during the match when all 3 of the members of the Shield powerbombed Randy Orton through a table, and then Rollins was like, yeah, we're back together, and Ambrose and Reigns weren't having any of it, and they beat the crap out of them. And I believe this was also Rollins' debut of the pedigree, using that in his arsenal. So that was a solid match, and probably one of my favorite matches from Payback happened to be Roman Reigns defending the championship against AJ Styles. And the reason I say that is this match, I don't want to say no pun intended, but it was phenomenal. I mean, Reigns and Styles put on a clinic. And really, here's the thing with Roman Reigns. A lot of people don't like the character. Let's face it. We didn't like Cena because of the same way. We don't like Roman because he's booked that he can never be beaten. It's like, no matter what you do to him, he can't be beaten. He's the modern day Hulk Hogan. He's the Samoan Hulk Hogan. Hulk Samoan. But you can't deny that he puts on a good match. Like, he had that over Hogan. Let's be honest. And Cena puts on a good match too. Like, if you look at Reigns versus Styles and Cena versus Styles, you see excellent matches. Yes, they both had AJ Styles in them, who could put on an excellent match with a broom. But you have to have somebody. It takes two to tango. Like, you can't go back and say, oh, CM Punk carried the match against John Cena at Money in the Bank 2011 when he won the title. It's like, he may have. But Cena held his own and did just as fantastic of a job. So I think the hatred towards Roman Reigns is not actually towards Reigns, but of the way he's booked. Because Reigns is actually good in the ring, and maybe he'll get a lot of crap for saying that, but Reigns has talent. The problem is how he's booked to be unbeatable. Heels should be booked to be unbeatable. Faces should be vulnerable. That's my opinion. Maybe it's an old school train of thought, but that is my personal opinion. Yeah, it's a little bit of a short episode today because Payback is coming up tomorrow, and of course I'll see you guys on the Payback recap show tomorrow night after the pay-per-view. What are some of your favorite Payback matches? Did I miss any? It's very possible that I did. And also, I'm going to need more of your questions. I do have a couple ready for the next episode. I didn't want to do Q&As every single episode. I kind of want to let you guys determine how this show goes. I want to do this show for you. That's the entire point. So what would you like to see on the next episode? I'm going to try to do another Q&A, so send in those questions. Either comment here on the YouTube channel on this video. You can follow me on Twitter at PA Sensation, on Instagram at PA Sensation as well, more likely on Twitter. You can send me Facebook questions. You can send me questions on Facebook. But as I said in the previous episode, don't send me friend requests because nothing against you guys. But if I don't know you personally, I'm not going to add you. That's just the way that is. So that's it for episode 3. It's pretty short and sweet. I hope you guys enjoy Payback tomorrow night, and I will see you tomorrow night for that. And until next week, that's it for TSE number 3. So keep it sensational, and keep it here on No DQ.